Happy full moon in Taurus, you guys. It is a lunar eclipse. This is happening in the middle of the afternoon in the United States. I am feeling the Venus expansion and magnification so hard right now. Before we just talk about the general craziness of it all and the eclipse and the culmination of this huge cycle that we've been in, it's like Venus is all about what makes us feel secure and feeling nourished and feeling inspired and in love with life. And so this is our connection to beauty and the deeper meaning within life and feeling inspired and then seeing, the meaning behind things in a poetic way. This is where, in the map of reality and the governing forces of reality, as consciousness becomes less abstract and more physicalized, this is the realm where the energy of creative force meets inspiration, the muses, creative, percolation and Dionysic inebriation, as well as a Pentecostal inebriation, feeling the fired up by the spirit kind of thing. And so this is the realm that's also associated with victory. I don't know if you followed me during the energies of Sukkot, but and the 10 days of repentance, but Netzach, right? That was the energy of victory and perseverance and overcoming. And so that realm is associated with Venus. This is where the idea of the gods as personalities within the different ethnicities, right? The metaphor where they become more anthropomorphized instead of just God as an abstract idea of the wholeness of being, right? It starts to get more crystallized where we can put our finger on it. So things in our life with Venus, it's like we crave these things that are inspiring and are starting to crystallize into material security, right? And so we want to surround ourselves with things that are in alignment with what fills us with light and fulfillment and what we value and what will bring us long-term value rather than short-term instant gratification or just trying to pacify an anxiety or a need in the moment. It's really persevering and doing what's going to bring beauty and depth and real value in the long term and real security. So you may have been thinking a lot about your relationships to money, to your home, to your inner circles, to your closest relationships, to your relationships to money and security, and your surroundings. Are your surroundings uplifting to you? Are they inspiring to you? Are you feeling a surge to beautify things? I got my little butterfly print over there and I'm obsessed with it, and it's just, I can't tell you how much of an uplifting vibe it's done. So is there little things you can do in your environment that are going to start enhancing this feeling that's going to start perpetuating more? We want to turn our consciousness into an expansive, abundant consciousness so that we can be open to receiving and channeling that abundance. So we want to get out of scarcity mindset. And so we want to surround our subconscious with things that make us feel abundant and secure and beautiful, whilst also doing things in a wise, prudent fashion that will help us direct our resources in such a way that will create security later on. So whilst we may be doing small tweaks to make our environment, more enhanced, we can also clear clutter, get rid of things that we don't need, stop impulse spending, cut out things and services and subscriptions that aren't that are just draining our resources. Stop doing things that require you to acquire more and appreciate what you have in the moment. I remember hearing Michelle Obama say recently that her dad taught them to be satisfied with what they had now. I think you can go and look on Drew Barrymore's show. I think it was a clip from the Drew Barrymore show. But the growing up, the father, they never owned their own home. Michelle Obama grew up in a very middle class family. who were, probably paycheck to paycheck or somewhere around there. And, they would want to grab for more to eat. And the father would say, no, you have enough on your plate to be satisfied. Be satisfied with that first, what's on your plate, and then see if you need more. And so I thought that what she took away is be satisfied with what you have first, and then, because so many times we're, numbing out and distracted, and we're just wanting more and more and more, and we don't realize that it's never going to be fulfilling because we're just reaching for empty vessels. We need to be satisfied in the moment where we're at, even when that moment is offering us discomfort, because it's in the moments of discomfort that we're actually making a difference and pushing the edge, pushing the needle. Otherwise, we're just maintaining the status quo. We're not actually doing the work of alchemizing density into light. And that's what we're meant to do here on this planet. And it starts within us. And that's, when we overcome difficulty, when we persevere through challenge, when we can maintain our faith and certainty, even in the midst of, complete uncertainty, that we're going to arrive somewhere for a purpose if we hold on to the belief, right? That all our effort has not been for naught, that it's being stored somewhere and transmuted and transformed, and it's going to be passed into the next vessel. So there's influences of Jupiter right now and expanding like our fortune and our material security and our spiritual sense of abundance and security. And so the more we feel spiritually abundant and secure, and the way you do that is just knowing that, we do the best that we can when we show up in this life. And so it's our job to bring ourselves at the top of our game and push ourselves further, challenge yourself to grow. At the same time, we have to realize that we're nothing without the light that animates us, right? Without the light force that gives us air, that gives us the fire, the flesh, the material, the earth to live in, right? We have nothing. So we're here to be channels of that light. We're here to be an experience for the light, right? That's why we're a living temple, because the divine itself is dwelling within us. So, right now we may be looking at our life and saying on a subconscious level that is connecting with our higher self, is this how you want God to live in this life, right? Is the state around you befitting the divine within you that's experiencing life through you? If you were going to have the divine over, is this what you want to present? When you go through your day-to-day, the way that you perceive the world, the lens that you view everything through, is this one that the divine is going to feel at home in? Because if it's not, you will not have affinity with the light. The aim for us is to attune ourselves as the vessel that can receive the light. And when we do that, then the miracle juice can flow through. All that potential that's coming from the upper realms, from the unmanifest, is channeled through us. The only way for that unmanifest potential to get anywhere and have anything done with it is for us to channel it through into the material expression of existence, right? The spirit world, the soul world, they can't get a hold of it. And that's why there is a battle between the sides of light and dark that are always competing to snatch that light from intercepting it from the vessel. And so we're the ones that call it down, and it's we have a responsibility as to which way we direct it. Are we letting all of this potential and energy go towards our fear and our worry and our doubt and our lack and our chains and our bondage? If so, then we are servants of the darkness, even though we might be well-intentioned. If we are overcoming that and breaking those bonds and saying, you know what, this is a very tempting, seductive way to direct my energy into all this fear and despair that breaks open all of my potential miracles coming through and spills it out into the dark side. Or I can say, you know what, haha, I'm on to you, foiled again. Not today, Satan. I am going to reach for certainty, stay grounded, stay in the central column here, keep my balance, hold on to the light, hold the frequency, right? Because the more that we have a sustaining vibration that is like the light, right? What is the light? The light is an eternal perpetuation of creation, of light, of life force, of love, of beingness, right? It is the tendency to be, and that is eternal, and that is unwavering, and that is unfluctuating, and that is unstopping. It is only us, the vessel, we the vessel, that close and open our ability to align and receive that light. So the law of affinity, the law of attraction, right? Like attracts like. If we are approaching the light and we're not in affinity with it, if we're not in vibration with it, then we may get close, but we're gonna, boom, we have dissonance. It's gonna create chaos because we don't have affinity. So we must build affinity with the light in order to get closer and closer to like channel it efficiently and be close and maintain. And that takes steadiness. That takes the ability to maintain yourself no matter what is going on in the outside world. It's like you can set your energy like a thermostat. It's funny, my thermostat just clicked. But you set your energy like a thermostat, and you set your consciousness like a thermostat, and you leave it there. And no matter what is going on around you, it doesn't matter, because you are climate controlled. And the more climate controlled you are, the more influence you will have over your life and your surroundings. And the challenge, the answers are always simple. The action plan is always simple when it comes to the light, but it's difficult because it takes discipline. And that is why it's called being a disciple, because you have to carry the yoke. You have to carry that cross of self-sacrifice and feeling the pain of breaking the comfort zone of the flesh in order to get there and reveal that light. It's breaking the self open in order to reveal all of that energy, right? And transmute it and redirect it. So not only are we drawing down the light force from above, but we are revealing it from within. So we've been leading up over the last 2 years, like a year and a half, since like fall 2021. This has been an eclipse cycle where the axes have been on Taurus and Scorpio, where the north node was in Taurus and the south node was in Scorpio. And so what has been happening is that over the last couple of years, we've been really getting clear on what we value and what makes us feel secure and what makes us feel in love with life, and like what is helping us channel through our work and our purpose and our relationships, that life that our higher self is trying to manifest through us, right? And so, you know, in 2022, our channel was talking about like clearing the ground, clearing the way to build new, clean, solid foundations on, and start building these sound, balanced infrastructures for a new life, for a new story. And we've been comparing it to like Life, the series, where you are the star of the show. And it's a good question to ask. Are you the center focus of your own show, right? You may be a character in every scene, but is the plot about you and your development, or is it always about the characters, the walk-on characters for each episode? Think about that. We need Life, the series, for sure now, the plot, for you to be you driven about your growth arc and your purpose and meaning, right? And so part of that, you know, is the new readjusting cycle that is the North nodes in Aries and Libra, but we'll talk about that in a second. So 2022, you know, from 2021 to 2022, we were clearing the grounds and making big changes in our life where it had to do with relationships and security. So a lot of changes have been going on for the last year and a half that had to do with that through all of these eclipse cycles, right? Change, release, expansion, letting go, you know, healing cycles, right? Cycles within cycles. So, you know, when you think back to fall 2021, what was going on then? What was initiated? What are you kind of coming to the culmination to now, and you're ready for the next phase, right? Maybe, you know, in some ways, maybe you've completely already done the cutting and the pruning that needed to go in the major areas, right? And so maybe at this point, there is, you know, it's just wrapping up old, you know, loose ends and really solidifying all of those old patterns that are going away. Because this is the last of the eclipses in that new Taurus Scorpio set. And so like this was actually done in the summer, because the nodes had already shifted during a like July-ish, July, Augusty. The north node of the moon shifted from Taurus into Aries. And so the north node is like where we're headed, where we're growing into, where we're being called toward. The south node is what we're finished with, and like what we're leaving behind and what we've learned and what we're doing with that wisdom now. We're embodying the wisdom of what we learned, and we're not doing the same old anymore. That's what the north node and south node are. So Scorpio, having been in the south node, was like death, transformation, rebirth. Mars, the warrior, coming in with a decisive cut of the blade with no hesitation. Hopefully, because, and what that is that's that eclipse energy that comes in like Grim Reaper mode and takes away anything that is not serving your highest good, anything that is bringing cycles of death and decay and stagnancy in your life. It's trying to take those things away so that it can expand into life. It's like pruning, right? Pruning your roses, and then they grow like crazy, and then they bloom and they're plush. And so if you've been holding on to things that have been trying to evolve or fall away, and you've been holding on out of stubbornness or fear or white-knuckled, grip of control or confusion or just unawareness, then the universe has turned up the volume on the discomfort in your life in order to like shake those out of your experience, in order to release you into the next chapter. Because like going back to Life the Show as the metaphor for the last year and a half, 2 years. So it's as if Life the series about you is like a Netflix show, right? And it's been long running all the way up until now. It has been canceled, right? We're not doing the show anymore. And so the last year or so has been like the writers are in the writer's room and they're redeveloping the show. And it's like, it's okay. The show got picked up. We're going to keep doing the show, but it's going to be a new series. Same flavor, same main character, and a lot of the same main players. Some characters have gone, some will come back, but the dynamics can be different now. All the storylines, all the motives, all the drives before, everything's up in the air. And this character can really be rebirthed and renewed. And the circumstances and the plots and the experience, right? And the storylines on the outer adventure can be renewed as well. And so, like, basically the writers in the writer's room don't have to go by the old canon, the old writer's Bible for the story, for the old series anymore, right? And that was like a book that they had to keep up with, or like these documents that were like the character building. And it was like, oh, this is the character's baggage. This is why they respond this way and that way. And we have to go by this and this character, or this is always their relationship. And this is what drives their story. And this is, what drives the plot with them. And it's like all that stuff, it just doesn't have to even apply anymore. It's like new characters, it's like a revamp, So this is our own life happening. And so in a way, we kind of felt like it was all gonna get like started in 2023. We felt like we were in the credits, and then we were like, is this the opening sequence? It just feels like it's taking a long time. Like the symphony is playing. We're like, what is happening? And basically 2023 has been like this whole year of this rebirth. And we've been giving birth to ourselves, and we've also been being born. And it's been really challenging and exciting and exhilarating and amazing and confusing. And it's like each month there have been contractions and expansions and pushing, and then getting a little bit, and then feeling stuck. And then pushing again. You're like, what the fuck is going on? Oh my God, breathe. That's because of this. And it's been like giving birth. And so it's been like this initiation. And then almost like, we've also been comparing it to like being on the launch pad at NASA and getting ready to launch a rocket. And it's like all these systems that build upon one another have to be turned on and warmed up and like done in certain sequences, right? To warm up the rocket ship to launch. It can't just like, we don't just like turn the key and like pull out of the driveway, right? And so it's been like that, almost like getting ready for takeoff all year long. And so we're finally here after the high holidays, where everyone sort of got a huge reset and a huge rebirth, right? Going into eclipse season, it's like, if anything is left, we're gonna go through like this psychic hurricane that's gonna strip away anything that's dead, loose, and stuck in the trees, right? So we're at the end of this portal now, and we're walking through into the start of the new self. And so now our aim is really like it's showtime. This is it, right? The curtains are going up and the credits have started. And so now it's about embodying the wisdom that we've brought up until now. It's about trying to meet each day the best we can with conscious awareness and making our choices based on free will and trying to connect with our higher self. What would our higher self think about the situation? How would our higher self approach that situation? How would our higher self proactively meet this instead of me in my reactive nature and my animalistic base instincts wanting to survive and compete and when we do things from effect consciousness, even when we're like, ooh, buy now, FOMO, I don't like YOLO, only live once, like, I don't want to miss out. Like that is that same kind of reactive energy. And so we want to become more sovereign. We want to slow down and meet life intentionally and say, like, is that in alignment with my goals? Is this in alignment with my values right now? Like, I need to focus my precious time and energy, right? In ways that, are of high value to me right now. And so, and direct me in the direction of my purpose, and send me in a divine direction that's going to be more harmonious and expansive and healing and abundant, right? And nurtured and protected and guided, right? And it's going to feed my certainty. But first, you have to have certainty to build that upon. The wise man builds his house upon the rock. The rock is stable. The rock is solid. The rock is grounded. The rock is unchanging. It might change, but it is over time, and it's stable to build on, right? And so that's that sustaining. The more that we can sustain our choice to be certain, we can be afraid. We can cry out passionately with every emotion to higher power, to source, to God, to the Lord. I mean, like, read some of the Psalms. King David got really intense, but he was one of God's favorite chosen ones. And he, was honest when he was scared, and he was honest when he was in despair and devastated. He was honest when he was lustful and impassioned and greedy and power hungry and, analysis paralysis or wanting to be a control freak. And he was honest too about when he was passionately devoted and committed. But the point is that he would cry out and connect with source because he knew that he was a channel for source, right? And so, it's in those times, that we are uncertain, it's like we can feel the pain, we can feel the uncertainty, but we can say, okay, even though I'm in the midst of this and I'm not going to be dishonest, I'm going to face this honestly, I'm going to feel it. Feeling it is what helps it transmute. But I'm going to trust that this is creating power and depth and light in me and in this world, and I can get through this, and Creator will bring me through this to the other side. And there will be purpose in this later that I can see. If I can't see it now, I can see it later. Seeing it now or choosing to see it now, that's living life face to face with the Creator, even in the darkest times. Being faced with the back of the Creator is when you figured it out after the fact, just as the moment has passed. And you're like, okay, looking back, I can see how that was valuable, how that grew me, how that made me stronger. And I can appreciate it now, even though it felt like there was nothing good about it at the time. Being back to back with the Creator is total despair, is being completely disconnected from your faith and certainty and not seeing the light anywhere and not being able to find it and being lost, right? And being not only, feeling the shadow, but like also being completely turned around. And so, it's about being honest, like, I feel so uncertain right now. I'm so confused. I'm feeling so much pain. And I don't know where to go or what to do, but I'm certain that you will guide me and you will not abandon me, and that you are within me, and I am the physical manifestation of your being, and in you I live and move and have my being, and I am yours and you are mine, and your banner over me is love. And I'm protected and guided, and yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. So, choosing the security, choosing to hold on to beauty. The rose is a symbol of the vessel and of beauty and of love, and it's associated with Venus. And that is because life, the most beautiful blooms come with thorns, right? There are thorns that are part of what protects the preciousness, right? When things are of high value, they are harder to get to. There are dragons put around them to protect them, because only the most determined, the most persistent, the most courageous, the most valored are of the deservingness of overcoming those dragons to get to those treasures, right? It is a requirement. We all have our demons to face, and we are the only ones that can face them. So, we're asked to face some of them now, to see these patterns coming up in order to let them go. If you've been triggered lately, if you've been emotional, really sit in reflection over the next few days. What patterns and cycles are coming to an end for you? Or what do you want to release? What do you not want to be anymore, do anymore, keep going through anymore, that you want to leave in the past, that you want to heal from, that you don't want to be your reality and your truth any longer? It's like that character can be in the cutting room floor of the old story, and we're on to the next series, right? We are already hashtagging the new series. So let's do a Celtic cross with the straightforward oracle deck. Before I go on any longer, we're gonna try to get in under an hour. Let's see if we can do this. Okay, let's do it. This is my custom deck, you guys. I've been working on this for a while. I'm working on actually digitizing the copy now, so I'm typing this in as a second draft whenever I can in my free time. All right, in this moment coming up, while we're shuffling, like this channel or subscribe to this channel, like this video, comment, put an emoji. Let me know what eclipse season is doing for you. This is the final eclipse, so we're going through the back door of the portal, and we're like opening new doors and starting new cycles. So what are you excited for? What are you letting go of? Let me know in the comments. I always like to hear about what's going on with people. I think about y'all when I know what's going on in your storyline of your life. Like I have this like awareness of it, and I wonder about the progressing plots for you guys. All right, so the first card will be us in the context of this moment right now. Let's see, what do we got? Ooh. This is tied to early childhood fear. Okay, so in our Thirsty Thursday love reading, inner child work was coming up. We talked a lot about that. So go watch the romance oracle message for this week. And generally speaking, relationship patterns of codependency and enmeshment have been coming up for healing because they were tied to early childhood cycles of the same with maybe one or more parents, right? So we've been warned that our fledgling souls, our new souls going into this new story, it's like the opponent is going to throw in manipulative influences, because that's what we've been challenged to fight our whole life, the dragon of the manipulator, and it shows up everywhere. We don't even realize it, and then we find ourselves falling into manipulative patterns because that's just what we've been experiencing for so long, right? So be vigilant in yourself and challenge yourself to not be doing things intentionally to be persuasive. Instead, be authentic and challenge yourself. And sometimes it's so hard. It's so hard to see that in yourself, right? For instance, this is an easy one to spot. If you are interacting in the dating world using those dating tactics, like the ones that are used to do like control, power struggle, like control tactics of like keeping someone on their toes and like being inauthentic about how and when and all of that stuff, and doing things in order to get a rise and response out of someone, it's like, even though those might be primal tips that do work to get heightened attraction and chemistry going, it's still manipulated and inauthentic. And so basically all you're doing is triggering someone into the trauma response of fawning and limerence. And what you have, as soon as the cycles of trauma wear off, the trauma bond, you will be left with nothing but emptiness and regret, right? And a bunch of pain. So think about that, okay? As you're going into this next cycle, like what can you do like to try to catch yourself not manipulating life but like looking at life honestly as you find it, and then deciding from there what to do with it, how to show up. Not only are we using our own free will, as far as like being, aware of our own motives being triggered, heightened, slow down. Why is this in my movie? Like, let me choose, realistically, but also like be aware of your own patterns of trying to control the situation or others or yourself too much, because it's coming from early childhood fear. This behavior is a direct result of childhood trauma. This is a defense mechanism connected to an event in childhood that made you feel threatened, abandoned, neglected, or not valued. You reach for this behavior in an attempt to comfort your inner child, but this is a behavioral pattern that keeps you stuck. This is a false sense of security. Ooh, Tower card. False senses of security are crumbling. This is a false sense of security, a prop or crutch. This is making you numb, leaking your energy, keeping you in a subconscious cycle of the child always in trauma. You must go back in time and face the memory of the event. How did it make you feel? How is this feeling similar to the ones you feel now? Replay this memory, but change it. Rescue your inner child self. See your child self handling or confronting the situation with all the strength, wisdom, sovereignty, self-worth, and consciousness you have now, but even more than that, the consciousness of your higher self. So if you want a structured way to do inner child healing and deep inner child work quickly, I would suggest To Be Magnetic. There is a link in my description box below. I believe I manifested an affiliation program with them finally, after like years of me telling people to get into their programs all the time. But the workshops really delve deep into certain, concentrated areas of our life, and they help you do the healing work. They help you go into meditative, hypnotic meditations where you rewrite your nervous system and you go back and you do the deep inner healing work and you face traumas. They have like guided journal things. It's like there's an endless amount of resources on their website, but it's like $30 a month to be a member. You have to do the whole year, or you can buy like packages in the one-off. But I mean, for me, I always do the 1 year or whatever. But I have a 15% off coupon if you want to do it. Like, go through mine so you can use the discount, and so I can get the affiliate credit. But yeah, it's the best thing that I have ever done. My best friend loves it too, and so we're always talking about it. But yeah, go look at their Instagram, To Be Magnetic. Their podcast is expanded. You can listen to a few of their episodes and get an idea for what they do, but it's amazing. It's the greatest. And so basically, in addition to doing this work very efficiently of healing, you're unblocking your subconscious and you're actually manifesting the things that you want to call in like magic. So if that's what you want to do, then you can follow my link. Okay, so what energy is crossing us now? What influence and energy is crossing us now? No big deal. So this seems much worse than it is. You've built this up in your mind. The worry around this has taken on a life of its own. Don't let it grow into a self-fulfilling prophecy. Nip it in the bud. If you don't make it a big deal, then it won't be. Not as significant as you are making it out to be. So maybe there's something in your life that is appearing to be really magnified right now. And if you can just let it go and not like make it a big deal, maybe part of the pattern that you're getting over is over magnifying situations because you're like very emotional and your perception is warped from your early childhood trauma. And so you're hyper vigilant and you're hypersensitive. And so maybe you are, it's like a child, the children, everything is so magnified to them and they're so much more sensitive. They're so much more impressionable. And it's like that child is the one that's taking in all of the threats of life right now. And I mean, they're everywhere, right? And so, it's like, calm down and try to self-soothe in the best ways that you can. And just remember that you may be making something a big deal that isn't. Or maybe you think something's an issue and it turns out not to be. Maybe there is a true and present threat in front of you that ends up dissolving, miraculously, right? So don't make a big deal. Either way, the worry and fretting will only cause more chaos and degradation in the situation, and it will perpetuate more dysfunction. So let go of worry, no big deal. Something is like bigger than you're making it out to be. So relax, and then just try to find peace and stability and courage as you're walking very confidently with certainty into this new beginning through this portal. You know, even if you have to fake it to make it right now, do it like a ceremonial march into this new thing, like a pageant, right? You're performing. Make it like your coronation march, but like keep your head up right now. This energy that your seed level energy is in is really important. So discipline your mind and your energy and your heart to be in a state of uplifted abundance and like positive, excited expectation and gratitude. Okay, so what is the subconscious influence? These just came out. You're making too big of a deal about this. Oh my God, I didn't know this was a double in that deck. That's so funny. So again, making mountains out of molehills. This isn't as significant as you think. Oh my God. So that is the subconscious influence right now that is like taking hold and keeping, things stuck. Oh my God, graduation, and you veered off path. So making too big of a deal about something is bringing you off path. It's taking your energy off of what you need to be focused on. You're past this now. Graduation. It's like this is a pattern that's healing, that's dissipating, but you need to stop obsessing and let go. You need to let go of the pattern of obsessing. Limerence, if you will. So the influence from the past that's still affecting us now. What is still affecting us now? I see this. You're going in circles. So negative patterns, cycles, stuck in a loop, repeating the same mistake, time for a new story. So this bears repeating that this eclipse is the last eclipse you will have for 6 months to have the support of the universe to help you break old cycles and old patterns and have a death to those things and a rebirth and a reawakening. But you have to decide within yourself to start changing and re-embodying and embodying the wisdom and practicing new ways of being and moving forward and letting go of things that are wrong and going towards things that are right. And so if you're going in circles, it's like now is the time to break these, because this is the last eclipse also in Taurus and Scorpio, where we can expand on what we love and what makes us feel abundant and our abundance and our resources. We can expand our own value and worth and our beauty in life, but that's if we allow the death and the rebirth to happen and let go of what was in the past, because we're moving towards a new self and new relationships dynamics and new relationships to Venus themes. But we have to finally allow the transformation to happen and let that old fall away and move on and let the old cycles end. And this might be cycles within cycles, right? Like for like a mother, like letting go of her kids as they grow up. It's like that cycle of having them close by is now over. It's not that you're breaking off, contact with your children forever. It's just like that cycle is over and a new cycle within the grander cycle is beginning, right? So we can think of things that way and not so absolutely in every regard. Okay, what is crowning us? What has the potential to be coming into light right now? This is a physical issue to overcome. So there may be practical issues in your life that need your attention at the moment, and that is very much tied to Taurus themes. Taurus is the physical expression of Venus. It's very ground, it's very fixed energy, it's very feminine. So it's about receiving nourishment and nurturing things in our life. So nurture your health, nurture your environment. Practical, mundane, body, household, money, diet, sleep habits, physical behaviors, 3D physical world stuff is what we need to kind of direct our attention to right now. And that might help let the energy flow. A lesson you're meant to repeat. This is a spiritual issue to overcome. So the lesson and the cycle that you're going through in a pattern. Okay, so this is a spiritual issue in your life, and whatever physical circumstances in your life that are going on right now that have you irritated, if you have a health issue, if you have an issue at work that you're like, why is this always happening? You have a relationship pattern that's playing out right now. Why is this always happening? All of this is your karmic lesson in life right now, the big moment, final exam to get rid of this shit in your life and start something new, or else it's going to start having real physical repercussions in your life. So even though you have physical issues to overcome, the physical manifestations that are breaking out, the core reason, the root cause of these situations in life happening really stem from these patterns that are perpetuated from early childhood shit that is now perpetuating in your own conscious choices in your adulthood, that's perpetuating into chaos, that is perpetuating into possibly health issues, money issues, issues in your house. So tackle these things literally and practically and physically, but also really do the physical work, or really do the literal work of making the spiritual connection about where it's coming from inside, because you can finally heal that and bring it into light and expose it and break that hold. So practical, this is a physical issue to overcome and a spiritual issue that are tied together. So by healing the spiritual, you are going to resolve the physical once and for all, instead of it being something that just keeps coming back. If you only try to tackle the physical issue, it'll keep coming back. It'll be fine for a while, it'll keep coming back because the spiritual issue is still perpetuating the physical symptoms. So you have to take care of both at the same time. This is a lesson you're meant to repeat right now. Whatever you're dealing with right now, if you're like, why is this happening? It's like, well, because you're meant to deal with this once and for all. And you need to take care of it this time now with a lot of consciousness and intention, and as your up-leveled self, and not the way that you have always done it in the past. So that is crowning us in the moment. What is just around the corner? Let go of control. So loosen your grip. Control is an illusion. It's repelling. It causes polarity. What you're trying to control is also controlling you. Trust, surrender. The universe could have something better. You are standing in your own way. Control is neither vulnerable or authentic. So whatever's coming around the corner, you're gonna feel like you want to do everything you can to control the situation. And back to being vigilant about, our own manipulative tendencies that we don't see. And then also being wise to not being caught up in the manipulations of others. Okay, so our perception that is affecting us right now is the destiny that we choose. So your free will is the most sacred divine gift and power. Choose with intention. Be the cause, not the effect. Take ownership of your life. Set your course. You do have a choice, and the choice is up to you. So this is about the perception right now that's affecting us is our own. And so how we perceive the world is the world that we're going to create for ourselves going into this new story. It's going to be the seed level. It's going to be the flavor of the whole pot of soup that we create. So don't burn the onions right away, right? Put your intention and focus on choosing your destiny right now, and visualizing and choosing with certainty to aim your focus and your imagination and your creative energy on the destiny you choose, not the fated hand you're being dealt, not for 1 second. So keep your mind on the certainty that you can choose your destiny, that you're not resigned to your fate. All right. Outside affecting you right now, the outside world that's affecting you and others that are affecting you in such a way is deep sleep. And so you feel like everyone around you is in this deep sleep, like you're the only one that's woke up to this reality, and you're like, hello, is anybody seeing this? Oh my God. Like, a spiritual awakening can help make you feel very isolated from others, and it can make you feel like everyone is just sleepwalking everywhere around you, right? Otherwise, from an outer perspective, from a physical approach to your situation right now, maybe you literally need to get healthy sleep cycles, get rest, make bed a sacred place, treat yourself to new sheets. Your body and soul need healthy sleep. Early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. Well, on a Kabbalistic level, our soul ascends every night and leaves our body and goes through a mini judgment day, just like on Rosh Hashanah. And so our sleep is like a miniature death and rebirth every night, and it's cleansing, and it cleanses our negativity on a nightly, daily basis. It's like a reset, reboot for the computer. So you need your sleep. So be really intentional about taking care of your sleep cycles, because your body needs it to heal, and your soul also does. Okay, hopes and fears. Ooh, okay. These were like, listen carefully, needs more planning, and true love. Okay, so there's like, you're building a life that you truly love. But first, right now, you need to overcome your fears, overcome these fearful patterns, and plan with intention how you're going to create and live and be in this life you love. There's probably aspects of it that already exist in this moment that you just need to start slowing down enough to be in appreciation of in this moment. Remember, be satisfied with what's on your plate right now. The fears and hopes position are inextricably connected because we're going around most of the time hoping that we get what we want, fearing that we won't get what we want, hoping that what we fear doesn't happen, fearing that we won't get what we hope for, right? It's just like they're intertwined. And so listen carefully, deep listening, open heart, pay attention to others. Who are you listening to? So pay attention, first of all, to what you're listening to. Are you listening to your fear? Are you listening to your ego? Are you listening to the fear and ego of others, right? Who's really talking at any given moment? And now, as you're receiving, filter that, and what you're putting out, filter that. Are you building a life that you love by thinking that you're going to filter negativity and then build a life you love? Or are you showing up and saying, no, I'm filtering this, my consciousness, I'm going to show up with love. I'm going to show up with caring. I'm going to show up with a sense of sharing and mercy. I'm going to put love into what I'm doing, right? And so relationships, your goals, your dreams, it's like maybe you're in a planning stage right now and you're listening and you're getting guidance, and maybe you are being a good listener to someone else. Maybe you need someone to be a good listener to you. Either way, you're listening very deeply with an open heart to ideas, to your inner pings of guidance. You are planning, right? You're looking into details, research, strategy, building foundations, well thought out, but slow, practical action steps, methodical focus and clarity, sharp intention, and sharp attention to detail. So right now, in order to get what you hope for, it's going to be taking things slow, listening, right? Tuning in, and then being very careful who you are taking your advice and information and direction and inspiration and motivation and information from. Being very discerning about that. And then following the path of love. I'm gonna read the true love card also. There is true and deep love here, relationships that challenge us to grow, true devotion and commitment. This person or situation is coming from the vibration of pure love. So whatever is happening right now, it's like when we're faced with our darkness and our deepest challenges, it's usually to reveal the light of Creator, which is eternal, unconditional love from within, right? And by doing that, when we really elevate and we start to elevate within our soul, it's like it harmonizes us with things that are real and authentic and true and eternal in our lives. And so right now, it's like, look to connect and plan towards and create with and create based on real love and creation and growth and fertility and beauty, and not toxic cycles of decay, right, and stagnancy. And so that way true love can start to sprout and to bloom in your life. Okay, and then final result, possible outcome, let's see what that is. It's time to take better care of yourself. So again, we are focused on self-love, self-nurturing. How are you supporting and nurturing yourself? Mind, heart, body, soul, and spirit. Are you taking good care of your household and finances? Are you kind to yourself? This ties into the fact that the nodes of the moon have moved into the north node being in Aries and the south node being in Libra. And so now we are growing into a more self-realized version of ourselves. We are connecting more fully to the higher version of ourselves. We have this rebirth energy. On the one hand, Mars is very Aries-like right now. It's very rebirth. It's very newborn self coming out. It's very warrior, like take on the world by storm, and a surge of passion and drive and inspiration. and decisiveness. But it's also that Scorpio Mars too, where it's like the death bringer and the cutter away, the Kali, the destroyer energy, the death rebirth, right? Kali, the divine feminine version of the supernal mother, who is the gateway of life and death, right? Death and rebirth are inextricable. So in this time of cutting away what no longer serves, we need to be focused on that rebirth energy also, and nurturing ourselves and taking better care of ourselves. And so we are making ourselves more of a priority. We value ourselves more, and we are showing up in different ways for ourselves, in healthier ways. So we need to prioritize self-care, taking better care of ourselves, prioritizing ourselves more in our own life story, right? It's not that we're self-centered and selfish and not taking other people into account in our life, but we are doing that with more discernment and boundary and context for those individuals and who is in those inner circles, right? It's like, so North Node in Aries, showing up as this new version of ourself, having a different level of self-awareness and self-image, and the you that you are wanting to show up as in the world. And Libra being in the South Node are the relationship dynamics that no longer serve us. And that is the Libra shadow tendency to overgive to things that aren't giving to you in return. And this is the shadow of Venus. It's like loving so much that you are overgiving and you are leaking out your sense of beauty in the world, right? Because you are losing yourself trying to keep everyone else pacified and trying to be the mediator all the time. Being that central column, you sort of overgive to maintain balance, but at the sake of your own self sometimes too much. So overcorrecting is not good either. So we're bringing into balance how we share, and how we're vessels of sharing the light in our relationships to life and to substance and to people and to other. But we're also, we're not losing ourselves in that anymore. We're valuing our own individuality too, and we're standing up for our own needs. And so the boundaries are getting stronger and healthier. And so our defense mechanisms are healthier because we're not hyper vigilant, because we've learned how to be more trustworthy towards ourselves and to learn who we can and cannot trust and who we will and will not allow any closer, right? So we're learning that. And we're establishing that, and we're establishing better ways of creating long-term stability and security within ourselves. But it's going to take really showing up and taking practical steps to take better care of ourselves, take better care of our lives, step it up in these areas that are mundane, because we value ourselves more, right? How would your higher self approach the situation right now? How would your higher self take care of this? Okay. Let's get a few clarification cards from the Modern Witch Tarot, just to sort of synopsize our story here. What more do we need to know about any of this? Okay, Ten of Pentacles. So yeah, building that legacy, building wealth that begets wealth, not falling into temptation of instant gratification or instantly trying to resolve an issue without looking deeper. It's not like panicking and then reactive. It's taking conscious action proactively to create long-term value. What are you going to value in the long term? What's going to bring you long-term fulfillment, long-term harmony, joy, abundance? What you're doing now, it's like you're planting the seed level of what's to come down the road. So what do you want, waiting for you there? What makes you feel at home? What makes you feel secure? What legacy do you want to have for yourself? Page of Wands is here. So Page of Wands is like this youthful, enthusiastic, go-get-em spirit, but it can be a little bit impulsive, and in a time where Mars is really activated, which Mars has been in Scorpio season, it's like it can be aggravating or uncomfortable messages, or receiving something in an uncomfortable way, or losing patience, or feeling edgy, or butting up against people's edginess or impatience. But overall, I feel like we're all excited and anxious to get started and go into this new adventure and new path with a new youthful wonder and a feeling of possibility and expansion and exploration. Ooh, we have Ace of Pentacles. So Really, seeds well planted and starting new opportunities and new ventures and new cycles well on a good foot. So be mindful of the seed level of the seeds that you're planting right now, the quality of those. Are you planting them in moments of fear or frustration or jealousy or insecurity or comparison? Or are you planting them in moments of joy and confidence and certainty? And remember, you can fake it till you make it. You can say, God, I know I am scared right now, but I want to feel certain. I choose to feel certain. I'm going to keep reaching for you in this moment. I know that you're here. I know that you can be activated in an instant. I know that miracles don't take time and space. They can be instantaneous. So I'm holding on to knowing that you're going to lead me through this moment. The Hermit came up with Hanged Man, Death in reverse, and Queen of Pentacles upside down in reverse. So there is a moment right now where you're feeling a little bit isolated, and you may literally be in timeout, trying to take time out alone, or you are alone and you feel alone. But this is really so that you can do that deep inner work. And if you can, do it. Like, use this time wisely to change your perspective on things, to feed and nourish your spiritual depletion right now, and go deep and take all that wisdom that you've been earning through experience, through doing all of this deep inner work and self-reflection that you've already done, right? Using that to fuel you through this transformation and to really once and for all change your perception going forward so that you can start this new cycle on the best foot. Just really appreciate this moment that might feel like a pause in activity, or like things are slowing down, or something's not happening as fast as you want it to. It's actually a gift, because there's some change that you're resisting, right? This is death in reverse. This is a rebirth that wants to happen, but there's some resistance to it that's causing the circumstances and the discomfort to like be magnified in order for the change to happen. So this is the magnification of the eclipse season, trying to take away what you don't want to let go of. And so Queen of Pentacles in reverse, it's like, yeah, you may feel a temporary constriction around in your physical environment. There may be something that is uncomfortable, or maybe there is an issue that you need to look into or take care of, whether it be physical body issues or issues around the house. It might be a lot of different things that you need to tend to in your life right now, but it does feel like you're resisting this change that you need to happen, and everything feels like it feels like your life's upside down right now. It just feels like everything's been turned on its head. You don't know what to do. And it's like this moment is actually serving you to have a fresh start and to collect yourself and change your perception, and to take care of the things that need to be taken care of. So don't resist the change. Just use this time wisely. And even though it feels like things are upside down right now, the more that you take like divinely inspired action, then it depletes the overwhelm. Okay. Let's grab a Moonology card. What do we need to know for this waning cycle? As we are kind of culminating the end of an 18-month cycle since November 2021. What are like these final thoughts, final lessons that we're embodying as we move toward more positive expansion? Believe in the impossible. Blue moon. So this is literally setting our perception and our belief and our intention on miracles. Believing in miracles. Believe in the impossible. The blue moon. The energy is gaining momentum. So waxing moon. The energy is gaining momentum. So our belief is the most powerful thing that we have. And then the desire also is like the most powerful thing that we have. But our belief informs our desire, because if we don't believe something's possible, then we resign ourselves to despair and we lose our desire. So belief is everything. Emuna is faith beyond reason, faith beyond certainty, faith beyond doubt. It is faith no matter what everything looks like. It's believing before you ever see. And so believe in the impossible, believe in miracles. The energy is gaining momentum. The more that you believe in miracles, the more energy they gain, because the closer you are to affinity with that. Okay, let's pull an Angel Wisdom Tarot card for the next, for the waning cycle, but also to end this grand cycle, as we walk through the portal into a beautiful new beginning. Seven of Swords, but in reverse. So I am going to definitely read that from Eileen Conley's tarot. In Bradley Valentine's tarot, he does not have reversals, but I feel like I knew it was going to be important to read one of the cards. And my interpretation without reading anything is that the cycle that's ending is the exact thing that's been robbing us from all of our potential. It's been the self-sabotage. It's been the murderer calling from inside the house all along, but manifesting in the outer experiences that we have. And so how have we been sabotaging our finances, our potential, our relationship, the potential for the relationship that we really envision for ourselves? All of that is ready to go. But in order for that to happen, we have to look really candidly and honestly at all the stuff that's coming up and like really see it clearly so that we can be done with it. And first, we can only be as honest with life as we are with ourselves, right? Get honest with yourself about your own life, about your own BS, about the ways that you are hidden even from yourself. And then, your patterns will become more clear to you in your life, and you can bypass that, or you can make choices that are different. You can make conscious choices to change and embody your higher self and the wisdom that you've earned. Okay, so I'm not going to read the card. I'm just going to read the reversal first, and then decide. Listen carefully. Someone may be offering the advice and help you need. If someone offers you advice, listen well, consider twice. It isn't all that bad. In fact, it isn't half as bad as you think. You will have something returned. Don't let false pride stand in your way. Oh my God. Okay, so the weekend, I'm glad that I read that because the reversal cards in tarot can have surprising meanings. And there's been warnings recently about someone making something a bigger deal than it is and possibly trying to influence or manipulate a situation because they're blowing something way out of proportion. And it's part of the pattern that it's like, that's your dragon that you have to slay. And it may be lots of influences in your life that do that to you. And so maybe there are people around you that are like, no, you're not crazy. And you're like, no, I'm taking all the blame for this. It's me, I know it. Maybe listen if there's somebody that's like telling you a piece of advice. There's also been messages about like someone coming in that could give you be a good mentor or be a good teacher, or going deeper in something like a trade that you're working on or doing. But there's something out there about connecting with someone, a teacher, a healer, or something that can help you through the situation and help you see things with a better perspective. But either way, listen carefully. Someone may be offering you the advice and help you need. If someone offers you advice, listen well, consider twice. It isn't all that bad. In fact, it isn't half as bad as you think. You will have something returned. Don't let false pride stand in your way. Okay, awesome. Glad I had that on standby. Let's put that in reverse. Now let us get let's do the manifestation reading first. Over the next couple of weeks during the waning cycle, what do we need to know about our manifestations? The manifestations that we're calling in. What do we need to know? What will behoove us? You know what? And just anyway, to the end of the cycle. Oh my gosh, the best card ever. A new day, a new dawn. I love this. This is my favorite. The worst is behind you now, and positive new experiences are on the horizon. So no matter what things look like at the moment, just trust that new cycles are starting, that really whatever's happening right now is just you doing the rest of your dirty laundry to get you into a new fresh start. Contemplation time. Spend time alone meditating upon what you truly desire. That's what I plan to do later tonight. When I get home from work, I'm not going to do secret teachings of Jesus tonight. I'm going to do deep inner work and reflection about what I want to release from the old story and what I really desire going forward. And I really want to get intentional about that, and I suggest you do the same. Watch your thoughts It's important to only think about what you desire, not what you fear. And again, like we talked about, don't burn the onions right off the bat when you're making your mirepoix for the soup. It's going to flavor the whole thing like burnt soup. So be careful about the seed level of consciousness that you sit down and create from. If you are in a frantic state worried about money or love, don't sit down and work on your creative project or send out your email list or whatever at that moment. Don't post. Go get in a better state of mind, listen to a disco song, dance it out, and then do it. But you need to be in a good state of consciousness when you do things, because that energy is going to flavor the thing that you're making. It doesn't matter if it's related or not, or intentional. So watch your thoughts right now. We're extra powerful. And so our perceptions, that's how we experience life, right? If everything that is happening to me is happening to the person next to me too, we can have completely different experiences based on how we perceive what is happening. One person can be suffering and in misery, and the other person can be having a pretty good time. Have faith. Your prayers are manifesting. Remain positive and follow your guidance. So again, this is like believe in miracles. Certainty is the answer of the day. Faith, emunah, belief beyond reason, belief beyond being able to see the physical. Have faith. Believe in the miracles. Okay, this is the end of the old cycle of our relationships. The dynamics that we used to have with people. So what do we need to know going forward? Worth waiting for. Divine timing is at work in your life, in your love life. So a divine timing issue is at play right now. Don't rush anything because you're feeling antsy. This is a time of healing and preparation and getting recalibrated. Everything is changing and up in the air for everyone. So no one is settled into their real energy yet. And so the seed level of chaos is still in the air. So it's never a good time to start anything new or, start anything new during an eclipse. Everything's chaotic. Eclipses accelerate and expand things. And it's great to expand things that already exist and go deeper into things that already exist. But if you're starting something brand new and fresh off the bat, let the dust settle, because you're going to want to resonate with what you're settling into, right? So it's worth waiting for. Something may be in process. And so you want to leave the void open for the universe. The universe loves to fill a void, and it is so easy to fill that void. So you want to hold it with all your might, keep that void open for what is really in alignment to fill that space, because you want long-term fulfillment. You want long-term alignment. All right, what else do we need to know? This could be the one. So you're waiting on something that could be like for real. So it's worth waiting for. You might have already met this person, or you may feel it coming, but either way, it's already a done deal in the spiritual realm. So you can relax and stay in your boundaries, because pay attention to red flags. The signs are cautioning you. So part of keeping that void open is paying attention to big flashing red flags when they present themselves. Do not fall back into old patterns. The old devil is so much more comforting than the unknown ahead. And so people go back to the misery that they are familiar with, because the unfamiliar is so scary. And so don't fuck up the new cycle because you go back into something that seems familiar because you think it's going to be comfortable, even though there's red flags there, right? This could be a new person coming in, but the familiar old patterns are there, and you're like, wait, I'm seeing signs of this negative behavior or this thing that can go down a dark road really quick, and it's like nip it in the bud before it becomes a thing. And don't continue on with someone that you're like, oh yeah, this is probably, because this could be the one and worth waiting for, or over here. So it's going to take a little bit of discipline to keep this open and really practice discernment. Forgiving and learning. In the meantime, favorite card, everybody. As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moment. So we have to let go of the past and release it so we can move on into a new cycle without carrying all the baggage into the past. It's going to be flavoring our perceptions moving forward. So it's like we are changing and we are going to be new people, but we have to behave differently. We have to perceive things differently. We can't bring all of our feelings from the past in, right? And that's why toxic relationships and cycles and things like that are trying to be cut away and taken away, because it's not about trying to like force something that's toxic to get better. It's about letting that go and keeping the space open for what's real and what can be healthy to come in. But it's going to take doing that forgiving and learning and healing work and paying attention to red flags, not only in yourself but in others. Let's get one more card on this. Very soon. So clearly decide what you want so that it comes to you now. So determine in yourself that you are done with that old shit that's going to keep going and it's never going to be any different. And be really clear about what it is that you do want and that you do need going forward, because it's circling the runway. It's very close to happening. And so just be very clear about what it is that you want so you have affinity with it and it can come in for you now. Oh, Miracle at the bottom of the deck. I'm just going to go ahead and pull that out. We're just getting a little word from Mary, Jesus' mother, before we go. Let's get one more card from Mary. I trust in God to know the perfect solution to this situation. I trust in God to know the perfect solution to this situation. Marriage, I make a commitment to a healthy relationship with God, myself, and my partner. So, again, if we are in relationship, if we are calling in that vision for a wonderful, lifelong partnership with another person, with a marriage, it's like we first commit to our relationship with our Creator and our source. We get that really healthy. We get our relationship with ourself really healthy. And then our integrated self can integrate with another's self in an equal way and be stable. But this is a triangle, both connected to source, getting their energy from source so that they are independent and they can come together as equals in balance and stability on a good, solid, firm foundation. Okay. Let's see. I make a commitment to a healthy relationship with God, myself, and my partner. So again, new cycles, deepening, cycles within cycles, old cycles ending so new cycles can begin, releasing the past, making way for what's coming. Okay. Jesus, one last word. Jesus gets the last word. Love one another as I have loved you. John 13:34. So love one another as I have loved you. True love. So set your thermostat to unconditional love, the unconditional flow of creation, of light, of energy, of healing from source. When that is your connection and you're connected to that for your validation, for your security, for your protection, for your source of sustenance. When you know that everything on the outside is just a vessel channeling that light through, and that is your real source, and that everything else is mutable and an illusion, that's what you can build your certainty on. That's what keeps you stable. So that is love. That is unconditional. That's unchanging. That's always there for the taking. So build your life upon that. And then that is what your life is going to yield. Love one another as I have loved you. Don't make choices based on separation and ego. Make choices based on equanimity and fairness and justice and beauty and equality and unity. All right, y'all, have a good rest of your eclipse season and Godspeed going through the portal into a new world. Happy rebirth. Ciao.